Welcome back to Loose Women Live this Monday lunchtime. I'm Jackie Brambles, and joining me today on the Loose lineup are Carol McGiffin, Colleen Nolan and Denise Welsh. Now, before the break, we asked you to guess who this waxwork is meant to be of. Any ideas, ladies?
Mick Jagger.
Michael Jackson. Don't know.
Janet Jackson.
It's actually the Queen of Tiger Bay, Shirley Bassey.
Oh, Shirley Bassey.
Wouldn't be too flattered
brilliant.
if I was Dame Shirley, would you?
No,
Wouldn't be too happy with that.
Ridiculous.
Right, in a recent survey, nearly 60% of married women said they would leave their husbands if they could be assured of economic stability, and nearly 40% were staying together just for the sake of the children. Writing in yesterday's Sunday Times, India Knight reckons the most important thing for children is happy parents, whether they're together or not. So is she right? Now, presuming there's no violence involved, if you are in a boring, loveless or sexless marriage, should you leave in pursuit of your own happiness or stay together for the sake of the kids?
I don't think she is right. I think there is something in staying together for the children. If I know I haven't got them, and every time I talk about this, everyone goes, "Oh, you ain't got, you don't know." I mean, if I had created, that was you. If I had created a situation like that and I'd simply fallen out of love with someone, because you know when you've been in love with someone, you tend to always love them in some way, but just because you're not like in that kind of romantic love, I know a lot of women who have scarpered simply because they don't have that kind of buzz. That yes, exactly, they're bored. They've and they've created a situation. And I am of the belief that I think, if you make your bed, you've got to lie in it for as long as you possibly can, and don't disrupt the family. And, at least wait until the kids are old enough to, or they're going off, or they're old enough to kind of understand. Because I always think that, most of the people I know who have children, their children would do anything to keep them together. And if there's no sort of visible animosity going on in the house, then I don't see any problem with it myself.
I don't agree, because I think, yes, children do absolutely try and keep their parents together, because ultimately children are quite selfish, and what they're actually saying is, I don't want my life to change, in case my life changes. Yes, but I can think of nothing worse than, if you've both fallen out of love with each other. Great if you're still friends and all that, and you've still got the same interests, and you're still doing things with the kids as a family. But if he's in one lounge and she's in another lounge, separate bedrooms, and your kids are growing up thinking, oh, this is what married life is all about, this is what couples do, I don't think that's right.
Do you think there's you just described my marriage, really, and...
I didn't want to mention my name.
And may it be on the record that I completely agree with Miss McGiffin on my right here. Because, I know, but I think that people do give up too easily. Yeah. And obviously, if you are desperately unhappy, but I think that people are always trying to recreate that in-love buzz, that tummy turning over, every time he walks in the room I get butterflies, excuse me, and we all know that that chemistry will evaporate, And I don't think it means that it's an unhappy marriage if two people are watching television in different rooms. And I've said that we have separate bedrooms because of my bloomin' snoring, And I just think that, unless you are desperately, desperately unhappy, the children don't know. And I have to say, my marriage has survived some obstacles, as you know, which I've talked about. And during the time that we were having a really wobbly patch, Matthew did say to me, Mum, if you're really, really unhappy, I'll support you if you want to go. But so I knew then that when I stayed, it wasn't for the children, because I almost had his blessing to go. He's grateful now that we didn't, because I know it does give, even though he's 18, Louis would know less, because he's so used to Mum and Dad being in different homes simply because of our work situation. But we have a couple of friends who are separating because they're just, the youngest one is now about to leave home, and there's just no glue to keep them together. There's just no love there anymore. But Matthew's kind of rocked a little bit by it, even though it's not us. It's just friends of his. It has rocked his security. But I mean, I don't honestly mean for people to stay if they're desperately unhappy. I just think people walk out far too quickly these days.
I think it depends on the term.
They always think the grass is always greener. People think the grass is always greener.
We're not talking about, oh, we've hit a blip, I'll leave. I'm talking about if you've tried and tried and tried, and then you realise after a few years, actually, do you know what? There's no love here anymore. There's certainly no attraction.
What do you mean by no love?
There's no...
What do you mean by no love?
There's just nothing. We've nothing in common anymore. We've nothing to talk walk about together, he does his thing, I do my thing.
It's
How can that be
children.
healthy for
What
the
about the children that you
how's
both
that
created?
healthy?
Why can't you be happy for them?
It depends on the terms, as you said, of what that relationship is. If it's companionable and there's still a level of affection, even if there's not passion anymore and there's not excitement or something, perhaps that's okay for the kids to grow up in that environment, and because they might not absorb or realise that, you know, that the parents aren't in love anymore. But I think it's quite dangerous to raise children in a loveless household, because you are in effect putting a blueprint on them that this is what is normal. And what happens, I think, quite often is that you go out in the world and you recreate what is familiar to you. So these kids may grow up and find people with whom they have, you know, there is a coldness or there isn't as much affection as there should be, because that's what's normal to them. So I think you've got to be really careful about the example you're giving your kids.
So the example would be to just, you know, grow up, get married to someone and just split up. It's not a problem.
No, I'm saying
everybody's
it depends
happy.
on the terms. If it's companionable, I think staying together is an admirable thing to do. But I think if there's a coldness or if there is some kind of animosity or there's a lot of high stress or tension, then you don't want your kids to absorb
You're not
that.
spending it as a family unit. You know, what's the point of staying together if he's having his dinner there, if she's having a dinner there, and the
As soon
kids
as it gets boring, and boredom, unfortunately, you know, reality is that marriage will go through periods of being very boring.
Once you're married, if you get bored, that's it. You can't have a life. Why should
No,
I?
you've got to make the life that you created worth living. That's all there is to it. You know, accept your lot and get on with it, and stop thinking, oh, the grass is greener over there, I'm going to go and find something else.
I know something that would make most of us
involved.
happier on the most depressing day of the year. Money.
Yes.
£3,000. Yes, it's competition time now, and to be in with a chance of winning £3 grand, just have a go at correctly answering this question. Which of these 90s films starred both Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones? Is it A, Titanic, B, Apollo 13, or C, Men in Black? Call 09012 931 941. Calls cost £1 from BT landlines. Calls from mobiles and other networks may be higher. Text WIN plus your answer, A, B or C, to 63337. Text costs £1 plus one standard network rate reply message. Digital satellite viewers can enter by pressing their red button now, and you can also enter for free at itv.com. Entrance must be 18 or over, and all lines close at 1:20. Good luck with that, and you can check the answer and the winner's name on our website next week. Now, a scrummy treat for us. Our first guest is a former rugby ace who last year swapped his boots for skates in ITV1's hit series Dancing on Ice. He went on to clinch the title of champion thanks to his icy moonwalk and bolero routine. 1 year on, with a lineup of new recruits at his heels, he's skating back to relive the death-defying spins, jaw-dropping lifts and sparkly spandex costumes as an ice dancer alongside the professional skating troupe Holiday on Ice in their latest show, Romanza. Please welcome Kieran Bracken. Woo!